welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am going to be doing a big old girl talk. It has been a while since I have done a proper sit down chatty video with you all, and this evening I just really felt like waiting to go a bit darker. I've been waiting about 2 hours for it to get to this level and it's just not getting any darker, and it's currently 20 past 9, so I was like, I'm just gonna have to start filming. I've ordered some food. I actually went for the sushi option tonight because I wanted something a bit more sophisticated to eat in this video as opposed to me like ramen a burger. So I got some avocado maki rolls and then I got some salmon sashimi, which I haven't actually tried before. So I feel like I'm going to be talking so much that I'm going to forget to eat this, which is also why I got sushi, because then I can eat it after. May have already made my way down some of these edamame beans, I can't lie. This pot was full about 10 minutes ago. So today I'm going to be doing a big old advice video, which I haven't done in a really long time, and I wanted to do a video where I can just sit and talk to you guys, and I think this is probably going to be the most open and most honest I'm ever going to be on YouTube. I'm going to talk about some of my own personal experiences. I'm going to, you know, touch on adult topics. So I'm going to be talking about a lot in this video. I'm going to talk about periods and confidence and sex and growing up and just everything in a video that people should talk about but are people too afraid to talk about. Also, I want this video to kind of be as though I'm like a big sister or a little sister, depending on how old you are. But I mean, I'm not saying 100% take my advice, because everything I'd say might not be right. Like, I'm only 21 years old. I'm learning as I'm growing up as well, but a lot of the stuff I'm going to say I have learned from my own experiences and me being a 21-year-old girl growing up in this day and age. And when I asked on Instagram for you guys to send me in questions or dilemmas, the amount that I got was just overwhelming. And as well, I want you guys to know that a lot of what people were saying was duplicated, so a lot of people were asking the same questions, and I want you to know that you are not alone in any of this. And if I answer something, you know, that you've asked or something similar, please know that you are not alone and that things do get better. So I don't know where to start. I think I'm just gonna have a little bit of sushi and then we can get into it. So I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, please smash a huge thumbs up, and other than that, let's get started. I'm just gonna try some sushi before I get into this video, because I've got a lot of topics. I'm gonna be sat here for a while, so I feel like I just need to quickly eat something, even though I have just eaten a lot of the edamame. Let's have one of these avocado rolls. These are my fave things ever. I love them. I don't know why I used to not like sushi. Like, now it is literally my favorite thing in the world. It's just so good. Okay, let's talk about how to cope being single when all of your friends are in relationships. I feel like this is like the perfect question for me, because I have always been single and I have always had friends that are in relationships. I definitely went through a stage where I found it really hard, because I'll talk about this later on in the video when I talk about like my own confidence issues and my own like personal stuff, but I have just never been able to have a boyfriend really. I don't really know why. Nothing just ever really worked out for me, and I would say that took a massive toll on me, because everyone around me was in relationships and really happy relationships, and I was like, that's what's missing from my life. I really want that. So I would say I found it really hard, especially when I moved to Manchester. I was living on my own because everyone had a boyfriend. I didn't know that many people in Manchester when I first moved, and I felt very, very alone. There was a lot of nights where I would spend just sat on the sofa watching something or a series I've already watched because I didn't have a boyfriend and my friends were with their boyfriends, and that is completely fine. But it's definitely taught me to love my own company. Don't get me wrong, it's still something I struggle with, in the sense of like, when I'm on my own, I sometimes, my mind wanders and I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do with my time now. But with the fact that my friends were in relationships and it meant that I had more time for myself, I feel like, yeah, like I've learned to love my own company now. So there was a lot of things that I did. So for me, I personally spent it working and making YouTube videos. So, you know, if I was bored one night, I would sit and film a video, or I would sit and look for ideas, or I would sit and watch YouTube. YouTube is definitely a big comfort thing for me. Like, it always has been and always will be. I think the main thing you need to take from it is, just because you're the only single one or one of the only single ones, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. And I think when the time is right, you will meet the right person, and I'm a true believer in that. I think you meet everyone for a reason, and when the time is right and when you're meant to be in a relationship, then you will be. And also, what I've found is when you're looking for a relationship, it's never gonna happen. Like, I think if you set out thinking, yep, I want a boyfriend, I'm gonna go find a boyfriend, you're looking too hard for the things that you want, that you won't ever actually get what you truly want and truly need. Like, for me, I feel like I definitely went through a stage a couple of years ago ago where I was so desperate for wanting a boyfriend because everyone had one, but I wasn't happy enough in myself to have one, and that was the deep-rooted reason as to why I didn't have a boyfriend. But on the surface I was too afraid to admit that. Yeah, I understand, I get it, because that has always been me, and I think as you get older and you learn to love your own company more, you won't notice it as much. But just know that it's not a you issue. There's nothing wrong with you, and it just means that your time hasn't come yet. And I think before you get into a relationship, you have to fully love yourself and fully be comfortable and confident in yourself, so you can, you know, I think in a relationship, this is kind of diverting, I feel like I'm going to divert a lot in these questions, I'm really sorry. I think in a relationship, it's so important to still be your own person. You have to, you know, have you as a whole, and then you have another person, you can come together and work amazingly together, but you need to be so sure of yourself and comfortable in yourself so that when you get into a relationship, you can build with them, but still be okay on your own and still have your independence. And I think being single can teach you that. That's what I take from it anyway. Don't get me wrong, there was nights I spent crying, there was nights I was very lonely and I really wanted a boyfriend, I really wanted to cuddle. So yeah, don't stress about it. I promise that your time will come, and sometimes it's just time. There's nothing wrong with waiting around. The next one, how to get over a breakup. Now, I haven't had to get over a breakup. I have liked people in the past where I have been very well, I wouldn't say heartbroken is a really like big word to use for someone who hasn't had a boyfriend, but where I've been very upset because I was really attached to that person. And I would say, yeah, that's my form of a breakup. For me, I think I, again, kept myself very busy, and I think keeping yourself busy and surrounding yourself by the right people is so important. So doing things with your friends and your family and going out, but also making sure that when you're on your own, you again are comfortable being on your own. 100%, I think keep yourself busy and keep your mind occupied doing things. Read books, watch films, watch series, you know, just do things to occupy your mind so you don't always think about that. And of course, you know, when you wake up in the morning, it's probably going to be one of the first things you think about for a while, and before you go to bed, you're going to lay in bed and you're going to think about it, and that is completely okay. But I honestly, like, this is what happened to me anyway. I don't know if this is how it's worked for everyone, but I remember one day, like, I just woke up and I was fine. It was the weirdest thing. It was though I just like slept off the hurt that night. I had a really good sleep and it was gone. And I think that is genuinely what happened. And that happened because I was so focused on myself and making sure that I was happy again. And when I did that, then I realized that actually it doesn't matter. And also I'm a massive believer, like I was saying, everything happens for a reason. And I know that sometimes that reason isn't that clear. And sometimes you sit there and think, but I love them, I want to be with them. But if you were meant to be with them, you would. And if you're meant to be with them, then you'll find your way back to each other. That's what I personally believe. And you know, it's not as easy as that. If you've just gone through a breakup and you love the person, you want to be with the person, and you know, maybe they've cheated on you or something, I don't know. But if it's truly meant to be, it will be. Yeah, I think just if you go forward with that mindset, it helps. It's a healthy mindset to have. What do boys and girls' texts mean? I feel like I have gone through a fair amount of talking stages to know the difference between a boy and a nice boy, and what their texts mean and how they speak. And people and boys, I'm just saying boys in general, but they can be so confusing, like so confusing, and I hate it. I personally just prefer when someone is so upfront and so straight with me, and you know, if they like me, just say it, whatever. Like I'd prefer you to say it. I understand though, because I'm very fearful of saying like I like you to someone, because I've been through so much hurt in the past and been like rejected in the past, that's kind of like built up in my mind, so I don't want that to happen again. But oh my god, boys messages, why are they so confusing? I was on Hinge for a really long time. I was on Hinge for, well, I was on and off, probably like 6 months, I think. I wasn't like constantly using the app. Some of the messages I would get were just shocking. I feel like I need to like talk about dating in with what do their texts mean, because I feel like you only question what the texts mean during the dating stage. So I was on Hinge for about 4 or 5 months, I would say. I got banned off of Tinder because I had like it logged in on my phone. I was using someone else's number because my other one got blocked, blah blah. Anyway, I don't really like Tinder, it's not really for me. Whereas on Hinge, I think you have to make like more of a profile, so I think people are more genuine on there, but that's just my opinion. So I was on Hinge, and I didn't really use the app much. I was on the app, but I didn't really use it a lot. I kind of just sit there and swipe, and I just kind of got a bit bored, to be honest. I just do it when I was in bed at night before I go to sleep. And then I ended up going on a date the beginning of December. Didn't work out. Only saw him once. Nothing against him, he was lovely, but just not really for me. I know I'm gonna get loads of questions because I've had so many questions. Do you have a boyfriend? Are you seeing someone? Because when me and Callum did that TikTok viral video about, a month ago, I think it was. He basically was like, oh, Anna's got a boyfriend now because I said something about a date night. I don't have a boyfriend. I haven't actually got a boyfriend. I'm not in a relationship. I am seeing someone and I'm really enjoying myself. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, I don't actually have a boyfriend, but I understand the whole dating thing and I understand it's not really for everyone. I personally really enjoy the dating stage of speaking to someone. I love getting to know new people, and especially when you click with someone and you really enjoy spending like time with them and you really enjoy their company. I think it's so exciting. This is really diverting off track, but I don't even know how you meet people nowadays. Like, how do you actually do it? Like, I mean, I never went to uni. I think uni, obviously you meet loads of people. I obviously skipped the uni part of my life, so I think that's probably why I was single as well, because I was working. Well, I wasn't going anywhere really. I forgot my point. But yeah, messages are confusing anyway. How to tell someone you like them? I'm gonna be honest, I'm not very good at this. I have had a lot of hurt and a lot of rejection in my past where, oh, I hate like admitting it, or like online, because I never speak about it, but for a long time I was never someone's like only girl that they were speaking to. There was always someone else on the scene, literally with every single person that I was speaking to, and it really ruined my self-confidence because I felt like I was giving so much to someone, even though we weren't in a relationship. I've obviously never had a boyfriend, but I was very open about my feelings and I was never getting that reciprocated. To have that reciprocated, I think, is the most incredible feeling and something that I'm really excited to like fully experience, hopefully, because yeah, it's such a nice thing. But yeah, just I never had that. So telling someone that I like them and being really open about my feelings is really hard unless I'm 100% certain that the other person is also feeling that way or a similar way. I think dating nowadays is really hard because of social media, and I think a lot of people never feel good enough, which is the worst feeling, and I feel you because I have felt like that a lot of my life. I always compare myself to other people that I see online. I always compare myself to other girls, you know, just around me, and it's the worst thing to do and I hate it. And I think that has definitely played a massive part in my dating life because I've always compared myself to so many other people. But how do you tell someone you like them? For me, I don't even know. Like, I feel like in person would be the best way to do it. Like, being completely open and having a conversation with them and being like, I like you, and if they say I like you back, then oh my god, you've literally had the best conversation ever. But then also kind of doing it over text and just sending like a really sweet message. Like, I know if I got a message with someone saying to me, you know, I like you, blah blah, it would literally make my entire week, year, whatever. So I don't know, like, just be honest. I think that's one thing that I've definitely like realized that I need to be and I want in someone is complete honesty and transparency. And I think you need to get that like clarity with someone if they like you or not, so you know where you stand, and so you know where, you know, if you're going to be in a relationship with this person or what this person wants. Just tell them life's too short. Life really is too short, and if you like someone, just go for it. And if it doesn't work out, okay, like I was saying, it wasn't meant to be, but at least you put yourself out there and at least you tried, and the most you can do is try. The next one, how to get over self-doubt and be more confident. I always have been a very insecure person. I'll be very honest about it. I don't think I've really, actually I've never said online, and I won't really just yet anyway, say what my insecurities are, because I hate drawing attention to it even more, and I've never really had a conversation with anyone about what I actually feel insecure about, because it's something that's very personal to me. I don't really like talking about specifics with people, but I can talk about it generically. I have always been a very insecure person, and I think that is because I have grown up online and I've grown up under a lot of criticism from people online saying that I should look a certain way, that I need to look like this to fit in. If you don't have certain you know, shapes of things and sizes of things, then you're not pretty. And I'm like, okay, do you know how damaging that is to someone to say that? So I get you. Confidence is a really hard thing to gain in this day and age, and I think it's only getting harder for young people, and I think that's a really sad thing. I've always said this, and this is something that I do, and don't get me wrong, I still struggle with it. I'm not 100% confident. I'm really not. I think I pretend to be because I'm telling myself to be confident, so I try and be. But we all have those breakdowns when you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh my god, I don't like what I see at all. To get over it for me, this is what I do anyway. It sounds so weird when I say it, but I've said this before. I look at myself in the mirror and I say to myself what I like about myself, because there is parts about myself that I really like and that I'm really comfortable with, and I try to focus my attention and my energy onto the parts of myself that I really like, and then the things that I don't like, I try to tell myself that they are what makes me me, and that, you know, this is me, and I shouldn't have to change the way I look to be accepted as a person, and that's that. There's nothing else I need to add. There's always going to be someone that you think is prettier than you, and the thing is, you could look at someone and think, I want to look like them, and they will also be the most insecure person. I always say this, focus on the parts of yourself that you love, because self-love is the best thing ever, and I cannot wait to feel like 100% self-confident in myself. Well, I don't think anybody's ever going to reach 100%. I mean, you might, I mean, that's the goal, but I don't personally think I'll ever reach 100%. But I always focus on the things that I love about myself, and I try new things. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but I never used to wear my hair up, ever. I used to hate what it looked like when I wore my hair up, and I think it was like like sometime last year, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try a sleek ponytail, because why not? And I did it, and I was like, oh my god, I kind of like it, and now I love wearing my hair up. And it's just, I think it's one of those things that comes with age, that when you get older you realize that actually looks don't matter as much as you probably think they do when I was 15. But like, another thing, right, so I've never admitted this online either, I used to be really insecure about my arms. I would never get my arms out. I always wore long sleeved. I just didn't like how they looked. I really hated them. Look at me now, I'm in a short sleeve t-shirt and I like what I see. It's one of those things where it will grow on you, and you have to learn to love yourself. So like I said, I look in the mirror, tell myself what I love about myself, and I tell myself the things that I don't love are the things that make me me, and they make me unique. You should never look for other people's validation. If you feel happy in yourself, that's all that matters. That is literally all that matters. You shouldn't have to feel like you need to look a certain way to fit into society nowadays, and I think social media in that way is so toxic. And I'm gonna be honest, of course, I've probably played into it a bit. Like, you know, I use filters on Instagram stories sometimes, which gives an unrealistic expectation of what I look like because I've got a filter on. But it's also the toxicity in my mind of people telling me, oh my god, you need to look a certain way, then when I have the filter on, I like what I see. So social media is just a toxic circle. It really is. People say like, take the filters off, you don't need to wear makeup, you're like all this stuff, and then when you do, people are like, oh my god, she's so ugly, and I'm like, hang on a minute, you just told me to take it all off, and now I have done that and I feel confident. You're tearing me down. It is a vicious circle, and you cannot win either way. And I've got to the point in my life now where I'm like, you know what, I'm getting to being happy with how I look, because I'm comfortable in myself, and more importantly, I'm comfortable with myself as a person, and ultimately that is what matters. So if anybody says to me, oh, you know, she looks, I think she's ugly, whatever, she's got this wrong with her, she's got that wrong with her, I'm like, okay, well, you know what, this is a lot more about you as a person than it does me, because if you feel the need to tear someone else down, that is a you problem, not a me problem. So if you do feel low and you do feel like you haven't got a lot of confidence, just sit there and look at the parts of yourself that you love and tell yourself that you are beautiful, because you are. Every single person is beautiful, and I think, you know, social media is really not good for this nowadays, and yeah, it's shit. I feel you. How to get over the fear of being intimate with someone. Again, when I saw this, and a lot of people said this, and I was like, that is something that I've never spoken about online before, but it's something that I've really struggled with. So I am going to be very open and talk about it, which I've never spoken about before. So when I was younger, when I was in school, so this was like year 4, year 5, maybe year 3, I was in primary school. I remember that I hate admitting it, because it's almost like embarrassing, even though it wasn't true, but a lot of the boys would run away from me because they say that I smell, and I was like, okay. And I remember going home to my mum, and I'd always say to my mum, like, the boys wouldn't go near me, mum, because they said that I smell. And my mum would get so upset, because she was like, you don't, and you know, like, she would get so upset seeing me go home and say that, and she'd always wind me up and she'd be like, it's because they think you're pretty, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. And maybe it was that, I don't know, but at the time it really stuck with me, because I can still picture in my head one of the exact scenes where that happened, and I literally can picture everyone running away from me, and that's followed and stuck with me into my adult years, because it just like embedded itself in my brain. I was like, oh, like, people don't want to be near me. So I remember thinking to myself when I was like 16, 17, and when I first like had my first kind of like intimate relationship with someone, the fact that a boy wanted to touch me and cuddle me was a really weird thought. And I remember thinking to myself, when, you know, I would be like hugging someone, oh my god, they want to give me a hug, which is such a weird thing to admit, and I've never spoken about that, and I can take jokes about it now. Like, you know, I'm 21 years old. If someone says to me, oh, you haven't showered, I'm like, okay, whatever, I know I have. It really embedded itself in me, and I still to this day sometimes, because one of my love languages is definitely touch. I just think it's so I just love it. I love being, you know, hugged and just having their hand on you and like your back tickled. I think it's just one of the best things as ever. And if someone does that to me, like without me having to ask or whenever, I still think to myself like, oh my God, that's so weird, because I never thought I'd have that because of what people said to me when I was younger. I completely understand the fear of intimacy because I've dealt with it too. And I think when you find the right person and when you're with the right person, you won't have that fear of being intimate with them because you'll know that they love you and they want to be intimate with you. It's so weird to admit that, and I don't really know what other advice to give because I definitely still have those thoughts sometimes, but there's nothing to fear about being intimate with someone. I personally think the only way to get over it is giving it time, because I think time heals everything. I think time is the biggest healer, and time has definitely healed me in that sense. Just slowly giving myself more experiences and having better experiences and being intimate with the right people and being intimate with the right person, and I promise that fear will go away because I had it for a very long time and mine is slowly going away. So yeah, I promise you it will go away. Is it normal to still be a virgin at 19? Now, I had a lot of people speak to me or send me a message about this on Instagram. It is absolutely okay to still be a virgin at 19. It does not matter if you have not lost your virginity when you are 30, if that is what you want. I think there's such a bad stigma nowadays around needing to lose your virginity early and needing to have sex with someone so that you can say that you've done it and you can speak about it at school. And I definitely felt that pressure in school when I was 16. I personally lost my virginity at 16, but I definitely felt a little bit of pressure because everyone around me was losing their virginity and I was like, oh, like I want to lose my virginity now because everyone else has done it. But it's so important, and I cannot stress to you enough that you wait for the right person and you do it when you are ready. You don't listen to any social pressure and what people are saying to you. Like, you don't have to lose your virginity if you don't feel ready to. It is a completely personal thing, and I know people who have lost their virginity at 16, like myself, and I know people who have lost their virginity at 21, 22, and that is because they felt ready at that time, and it's completely different for everyone. So if you have, you know, if you're 19 and you haven't lost your virginity, babe, so what? Just do it at your pace, at your timing. Don't feel pressured by everyone around you. And I know it's a lot easier said than done, because if all your friends are having a conversation about sex and you're like, oh, I don't know, you know, I don't know what that feels like. I've definitely been through that. I mean, I haven't really spoken about it online, but there was a period of about 2.5, 3 years where I didn't have sex at all with anyone because I felt very weird about sex, to be honest, because of different things that had happened. And I would listen to my friends speak about, you know, these amazing experiences they were having, and I was like, oh, like, you know, I feel left out. Only when you are ready must you lose your virginity. And that, please, if you're gonna listen to any of my advice, listen to that. You don't need to feel pressured to lose your virginity at all. It's a completely personal thing, and you do it when you are ready. How to tell your parents that you've started your period or you have a regular period. So I remember when I started my period, I was sat with my friend Amber at the time on my bed, and I remember I got up or something and she went, oh my God, Anna, there's red on your bed. And I was like, oh my God. And I started my period, and I think I was 16, maybe late 15, early 16, but it was around that time. And I literally, personally for me, I went, Mum, and I screamed. I was like, oh my God, I've started my period. And Mum was just like, oh my God, it's okay. Like, it's a completely normal thing. And if you started your period, whoever, you know, your parent, guardian, just go and tell them. It is a completely normal thing. It happens to every single one of us girls. And yeah, I mean, my periods are horrible. Like, I'm very open about it on Instagram. I get the worst periods in the world. I also have quite irregular periods. I mean, touch wood, they're regulated out as I've got older, but I definitely still have times where my periods are fucked. Like, fucked is the only word I can use to describe it. It's a completely normal thing, and you should just speak to your parents about it, speak to your guardian about it, just let them know, and then you can get some supplies and it's all gonna be fine. But yeah, periods are so normal. I think just speak to your parents about it, even if they haven't had the conversation with you about it. Don't be afraid to speak to them about it, because yeah, like I said, everything will go get to them. I'm just gonna have another little bit of sushi because I'm just staring at it and I'm like, oh yes, I need you. I'm gonna try this sashimi quickly before I go on to the next one. I don't know if I'm gonna like it because it smells really fishy, and I love tuna sashimi, but there's something about this I'm just However, I tried salmon, like cooked salmon, for the first time a couple of months ago, and I loved it. But there's just, I'm not sure about this, but I'm gonna give it a go. I wanted to try it. I also got some wasabi. Wasabi is so strong. We're gonna give it a go. I'm just gonna take a little I put a lot of wasabi on, but that's really good. It doesn't really taste of anything. It's a bit like plain. Weird consistency though. Really weird consistency. I like it though, I'm not mad. The last one that I want to talk about is body image, because this has definitely been something that I've really struggled with growing up online, and I know that it's something that a lot of people struggle with now because of social media, and because, to be honest, a lot of people are cruel and people make comments that they really shouldn't. My number one thing that I think, you know, I think it really crosses a line when people comment on weight, and I despise it so much because you have no idea how someone feels about their weight and the way that they look. And I think to comment on someone's weight is so selfish, and I think it's such a horrible thing. And I think just, you don't need to comment anything nasty about anyone, but you definitely don't need to comment on someone's weight. This is just me talking from my complete personal experience, but I have received a lot of comments in the past about me putting on weight, and I've had people screenshot my pictures when I've had a little bit of a double chin and say, oh my god, she's putting on so much weight, blah blah, and looking at it as a bad thing. Whereas when I was younger, I really struggled to put on weight, and I was really happy that I was putting on weight because it was something, like I said, that I really struggled with when I was younger. Never would get my arms out because I hated how they looked, because I thought they were really thin. When I started getting these comments and people were putting it on me as a negative way, it really affected me, because I was like, hang on a minute, I was really happy and now these people are making me feel like I shouldn't be. So that's just my personal experience growing up online. I think you shouldn't comment on someone's weight. I think you know, don't comment hate on anyone, obviously, but weight and body image is such a personal thing to everyone, and I think everyone's always going to compare themselves to people they see online, which is, I mean, I haven't done this in a while actually, and I really should, but when I was about 6-7 months ago, maybe, actually probably not that long ago, I did an Instagram story when I was really bloated, because I bloat really bad. Literally as soon as I've eaten, I've got like a massive belly on me, and I love it because I love my food, I love eating good food, but I bloat really bad. And I put a picture of my bloated belly, because when I take, you know, and this is probably half of the problem, and I admit it, but when I take like my lounge underwear pictures, for example, and I post them on Instagram, I take my photos in the morning when, you know, I've just woken up, my belly is super flat, I love how my figure looks, and I'll take them then. Once I've indulged in food and I've eaten, my belly obviously doesn't look like that. And I posted a picture of my bloated belly, and the response that I got was incredible, because people were like, thank you so much for actually showing normality. And I that needs to be normalized. People should just show that more. And like I said, you know, I'm probably part of the problem, because I post pictures where my figure, you know, I really like what my figure looks like in it, and not what my figure looks like all the time, because like I said, I bloat a lot. It's a vicious circle, isn't it? Because if I posted a picture where I was super bloated, then I know that people would say to me, oh my god, you know, they'd be giving me hate about it. So it's a vicious circle, no one can win. For me, I've definitely struggled with body image massively, because growing up online and having people comment on what I look like all the time, I feel like I actually reached a point, this is a while ago, where I actually didn't even know what I looked like, because I was seeing so many people comment about what I look like and compare me to different things, that when I looked in the mirror, I felt like I wasn't even looking at myself, because I was looking at what the comments said I looked like, if that makes sense. It's just, yeah, it's one of those things where you have to learn to love yourself and ignore what every single person is saying. And just on the topic of this, I feel like this is just like a general comment for people on the internet. If you comment hate on someone's appearance or what they look like, please take into consideration how you would feel if someone said these things about you and made you feel the way that you were making that person feel, because you have no idea what they feel, you know, uncomfortable about in themselves, or what part of themselves they're insecure about, and you commenting on it can make it so much worse and make them feel so worthless in the way that they look. And it's not a nice thing. I preach so much, just spread love, spread positivity online, do not comment on what people look like, and just don't do it. And that is what I'm ending this video on. Just a nice little don't do it, just spread love. Just, you know, it takes 2 seconds to comment on someone's picture. If you think they look beautiful, like, you look beautiful, like, why do you need to comment hate? Just don't do it. That is the end of this video. I have been speaking for a while, so I think this video is going to be very long, so I do apologize. But if you do like it, I mean, let me know and I will definitely do more of them, because like I said, there were so many comments and so many different topics that people were saying that I tried to cover like as many as I could in this video, but obviously I didn't want to make make it like 2 hours long if you guys don't want to see these. But if you do, I mean, let me know down below some other topics that you would like me to cover. Make sure to go and follow me over on Instagram, and you can DM me some topics, and then I'll put a question box on my story as well when I'm doing another one of these videos. All of the things will be anonymous, but it was really just, yeah, the fact that you guys were telling me all these things and trusting me with these things and want my advice is amazing. Like I said, my advice isn't always going to be perfect. I'm literally a 21-year-old girl growing up and learning as we all are. Even if this video can just help one person, I'll be so happy. So yeah, let me know down below in the comments what you did think of this video, because I'd be very intrigued to know. But I'm now gonna go. I'm actually gonna have a little pamper night tonight. I'm gonna go and get in the bath. I'm gonna wash my hair, put some pajamas on, and I'm gonna sit and watch a film. But I love you all so much, and I will see you very, very soon for a brand new video. Bye.